So I'm here with my good friend and partner, Dr. Chuck Coker, and we're talking about a lot of different topics. We're going to get together every week. We're going to have one of these videos to share with people. The thing that's been on my heart and mind, Chuck, is this, what I believe is the coming boom, the coming business boom, that we've got a change in administrations, a very friendly, business oriented kind of administration and government here in the United States. But a lot of other things are aligning at the same time. It isn't just a change in administration, it is just new opportunities. AI is booming like crazy. There's so much going on. What do people need to understand now, or what would you like to share with people around how to best prepare for this boom opportunity that's coming our way?
Well, I think the most important thing is to put it into context.
Mm.
For many, many years, we have been led by politicians, and politicians have literally set a snail's pace for growth and development. And as we discussed earlier today, growth and development only occurs during the first 2 to 3 years of an innovative organization. After that, they go into maintenance mode. So what happens then is a company will either hit the wall or they will cease to be innovative. They will lose their, shall we say, their status in the marketplace. So as we move into this generation with a business-oriented leader, whether we like him or not, it's going to change the focus of the way people approach things. People are going to up their expectations of what we're going to provide and how well we provide it. We've never heard a concept of a administration that had an office of efficiency before.
Wow.
And you know what? This is so badly needed because the efficiency comes from where? Not equipment, not just software. It comes from people.
Right.
And without that growth and development in our people, we are going to fall behind and lag behind. And in many ways, we have lagged behind. We're no longer the greatest healthcare country in the world. We are no longer the greatest IQ country in the world.
Yeah.
And I gotta believe that even though we may think that we invented the concept of emotional intelligence, there are other countries that are doing it better. And quite frankly, that makes me sick to my heart
Yeah.
because we have an opportunity with the freedoms that we have and the ability and capacity and the resources that we have that no other country has. And shame on us if we don't take advantage of it.
No, that so well said, Chuck. And one of the things that's on my heart is that for so long people have been carrying around these misconceptions about things and these burdens. In some ways I call it emotional load. People are carrying a lot of emotional load when emotional intelligence skills can show them how to navigate all that and relieve that load. Because we know that when it comes to higher cognitive functions, strategic thinking, adaptive thinking, abstract thinking, logical reasoning, numerical reasoning, and I could go on and on and on. If you're stuck in a cycle of emotions or an emotional environment that has taken up a lot of brain space, you can't access those higher thinking skills. And
That's right.
we
That,
need that. Our leaders need that. And to be innovative, you've got to what's the definition of insanity? You keep doing the same thing over and over and hope for a different result. So go ahead. What are you thinking?
here's the thing that I think we have to understand is the fact that as long as we do things the way we've always done them, we are in a fixed mindset.
Mm.
And the fixed mindset had better go away for most organizations in the years ahead. Otherwise, they're going to be closing down like 100-year-old companies that are going out of business today. And
Yeah.
the closure rate of organizations is actually higher than the creation of organizations in the United States right now. That's a scary thought. And what that means is people have locked into that fixed mindset and they do not believe that they should change. And so as we look at this, yes, emotional intelligence is important, but there has to be motivation behind that. And we see it in the fact that only 35% of our employees are engaged. Now, that, believe it or not, is actually a 2% increase.
Yeah.
So we're in trouble. That means that 65% of our employees are either unengaged or actively disengaged with their passive aggressive behavior.
Mm.
If we don't change that, we're locked into failure. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. No, this is such good conversation, Chuck, because we're hitting on some key things. And I'm in the process of creating an ebook that is focused around leadership, and is your leadership limiting or leveraging your potential success? And bottom line, it starts with leadership, because as a good friend of mine who's a very direct communicator, and I worked with him on a project with one organization, he said to the CEO, "You do know that the fish rots from the head down, right?" And I thought that's a fairly graphic way to get his attention. But it did get his attention. And there, thankfully, there was meaningful change that came out of that. But you're so spot on, because technology is not going to slow down in its evolution. And if we're seeing this gap, this just increase between AI and EI, between artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence, and between machines and people. Well, as I've said in a podcast episode recently, the only reason we have technology is that there's a person at the end of that technology. I don't care what technology it is, somewhere there's a person that is the recipient of the data and information coming out of that technology. And people have a specific role. Now, you and I both know, Chuck, that 70 to 80% of the job descriptions 5 years from now aren't even created today. We have no idea what those things will look like. Will things be different? Sure. But they could also be better. And we can't lose what you said. We can't lose in all the technology the critical importance of people, and
Mm,
how we leverage technology to help people develop themselves and develop their teams, develop their organizations.
mm.
That's what you and I've done for many years. Um, Go ahead.
Yes. And if we don't, the downward spiral will continue because you know the research that's out there that says 85% of all employees have quit their job at least once because of their boss.
Yeah.
And what has actually occurred? Most people feel like a number. And so when they walk in, what happens? The anxiety level goes up. What happens when the anxiety level is up? Our heart beats faster. What happens to our cognitive ability? They decrease at the same level as our heartbeat increases. In other words, we're getting, let's say, a person's heartbeat is an average of 60. If it just goes up 20% to 72, you don't think about that much, but they have lost 20% of their cognitive abilities.
Wow.
And at that particular point, what kind of quality of work is the organization actually getting because a leader doesn't know how to interact with, manage, and inspire the people that they're working with?
No, and something that you said really resonated with me, Chuck. Emotions are contagious. So if anxiety, stress, fear, worry, all of those things are emotions. Uncertainty is an emotion. Trust is an emotion. I mean, all of these things that people don't really think of as emotions, they are. So if we don't know, and I know I come from a specialty of emotional intelligence and neuroscience and all of that. And so, yeah, okay, I tend to focus on that a lot, but I focus on it because I don't want to see people carrying around these heavy emotional burdens, these loads. And I know a lot of people will say, I don't have any problem with that. I stick them in a box when I go into work. That doesn't work all that well. But when I talk about emotional load in the workplace, I'm talking about exactly what you're saying because to me, the definition of engagement is the emotional commitment someone has to the organization and the purpose and the team. That it's that above and beyond emotional commitment that I will go the extra mile. I will do what's needed. I will operate at a higher level for a shared good. That's engagement. And to think that 1/3 of our people are there and the other 2/3 they're not, that's not, we know in top organizations that number's actually 70 to 80%. And that's where I would love to see all of my clients get to, is where their engagement levels are at that.
And they are few and far between. Very few and far between. And the sad thing is that most of the companies that have that high an engagement level are not large companies.
That's very true, which
So
in some ways is encouraging because you don't necessarily have to have vast resources to get the culture that everybody wants to work and live in, right? And we're seeing a lot of variations with remote workers right now in how to engage them, how to connect with them, how to draw them into higher levels of engagement. And honestly, the skills needed today in leadership are vastly different and more extensive than what they used to be. It used to be everybody came to the same place. We all did our work during the day together. We talked to each other over the water cooler and we all related to each other and collaborated and did all of that. And then we went home. That's not the workplace today.
yeah, definitely. Well, Steve, I appreciate this opportunity to talk with you today, and I look forward to our next engagement. And anything that I can do to help our audience, I'm more than happy to be there, and I know you feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. And when these get posted, when you see these videos, whether they're on LinkedIn or whether they're on our YouTube channel or wherever you see them, there's always going to be a place for you to comment and to ask questions. And we will respond to every single comment and question that gets asked because our hearts are around really enlightening people through what we do to, I hope you got it there, Chuck.
So it was going to land on my nose.
Talk about engagement. Anyway, you all, we're going to let Chuck go and take care of that pest problem he has. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay focused, understand that there are some cool things you can do to improve your life, to get more success, more satisfaction. And that's what we're here to do to help you. So have a great day and we'll talk to you again soon.